Welcome to Screen Riot, the show where we let fate choose the movie we review. This week's movie is 2004's crime drama Layer Cake. The episode contains major spoilers, so if you want to join along in the conversation, just go ahead and pause, go check out the movie, and then come back to the show because this is Screen Riot.
So welcome back to another great episode of Screen Riot. You know, Jeff Bezos, if you're listening, for a low price of $1 million a month, you can be in the exclusive tier at Patreon. We'll give you like 10,000 mugs or something. But okay, so let's go ahead and get started talking about Layer Cake. So last week, the Wheel of Fate spun, and it landed on John, and it landed on crime. So John, tell us a little bit about Layer Cake.
Well, Layer Cake is as you said, a crime drama, and it was directed by Matthew Vaughn, who is a British director, and I really liked it the first time that I saw it, and I've never watched it again.
Okay,
which is it's weird saying I really liked it, right? Yeah, it was awesome. But yeah, I just kind of never went back to it, and the only thing I really remembered about it was that Daniel Craig was in it. Okay. That's about it. So rewatching it for this show was pretty awesome. I'm like, oh yeah, it was all those oh yeah moments,
yeah.
You know, type thing, and it just is it's a movie to me that just it screams classic crime woven in a enigma of like what is actually going on here, and then in the end it kind of coalesces and goes, okay.
Yeah, who's going to actually get ahead in all of this? Like who's actually going to live, who's going to die type thing. Like you never know where it's going to go until it happens.
Exactly.
Yeah. And like you said, it was directed by Matthew Vaughn, but it's got like Guy Ritchie, British UK crime drama all over it.
All over it, because the if I'm not mistaken, the same producers of Snatch and Lock, Stock and Two Smoking Barrels also produced this film.
Right.
Yes. Okay. So just to get a quick synopsis of Layer Cake, it's about a successful cocaine dealer who gets two tough assignments from his boss. One to find a girl who's been missing, and another one to broker a deal basically for methamphetamines, for MDMA.
Yeah, for
right.
1 million.
1 million pills.
Yeah.
With the Duke.
Yeah,
the Duke.
Yeah,
and that's the basis of the movie. Like in those two kind of what do you call it, MacGuffins, really, because you never meet the girl, as far as I remember, that he's trying to find.
Well,
well, you do see her, but they never come in contact.
No, he never meets her, but they definitely we see them as the audience. Yeah. And same thing for the million pills. That I don't think is a MacGuffin. I mean, he does actually, eventually come into ownership of them technically and all that. So I mean, there's you were bringing up like Snatch and Lock, Stock and all that kind of stuff. Layer Cake to me is sort of like the bastardized little brother of those movies. And I don't mean that necessarily in a bad way. There's things about Layer Cake I like, but I don't think Layer Cake is aged as well as Snatch did.
True.
You know what I mean?
True.
Snatch, I feel like you can turn it on today and you're like, oh shit, this movie's pretty good. Its comedy is more embracing. I think they embraced that they were going to be funny a little bit more.
Took it more tongue in cheek. Snatch.
With Layer Cake, it's funny, but it's almost it's just a quick like, oh shit, you know what I mean? And then it's right back to okay.
Well,
no, I'm pretty
serious.
serious.
How films. This is what I kind of took out of it. I don't know if it was just my sound system or what, or if it was the actual sound editing of the movie.
No, that's just British.
No. No, I could kind of understand it, but no, I think whoever edited this or whoever picked the music really, really wanted to play the songs. It was almost like listening to like Spotify or Amazon Music or something like that, and you just hit play on a song at the very beginning, and it would play like for maybe a minute and a half, 2 minutes, almost the whole song. And I'm thinking, okay, there's a lot of like montages type stuff. Like there's a lot of moving parts that are going on under music. and you're just listening to the movie soundtrack at that point.
The soundtrack in this is really good.
I really like the soundtrack.
It.
It was like there were some really cool songs in there.
But like taking back what I was saying earlier, that it's almost like an homage to like Guy Ritchie films, because that's exactly what he does. Like in Snatch, you play songs for like a minute to 2 minutes long in some scenes,
right?
Mm-hmm.
You know, and this movie does the same thing.
Yeah,
it feels like a Guy Ritchie movie,
but it was weird because there were some parts where the actors were speaking. But I'm like, can you turn down the music track? Because it's really loud. It's
well,
like,
the audio,
I don't know if I can, if it's just my sound system that's just playing the audio or the soundtrack super loud, or I just can't hear the actors.
The audio mix in this movie is screwed up.
Okay.
It's so I was a projectionist at a theater here in town, a historical theater here in town for like 17 years.
Okay.
And, or I guess 16 years, excuse me. And I showed this movie at the theater in 2004.
Oh, wow.
And I just remember having to ride the damn audio board the entire movie because the explosions and the music, etc., way too loud, and then the audio, some of it is like muddy and low, and you're just like,
it's just like super low, and
why
it's
are
just
they
like,
whispering?
Yeah, I was doing that while I was watching this. I was having to go up, down, up, down.
Yeah, it's probably the worst part of the movie is the audio, but other than that, I mean the dialogue is good. It's authentic.
Yeah, it's interesting.
I do think though, like I said, it just didn't age. It didn't age as well because it does feel like a very like early 2000s, late 90s British crime movie. You know, it kind of reminds me of what is that movie with Samuel L. Jackson, Formula 51. Kind of reminds me of Formula 51 a little bit. And not in terms of the story, not in terms of anything other than it's a British crime movie that was made beginning of the 2000s, and it just sort of has that like, hey, the world's gonna be different. We're all gonna listen to like techno and stuff. Yeah, it's gonna be awesome, and drugs, and it's like
good times
or not. I mean, maybe we won't do that. And we don't have to wear straight leg jeans all the time and shit either.
Yeah.
But no, I mean,
I do want to say about the songs. I found this very, very interesting. The song where Morty and
beats up Frankie.
No, not that one.
Oh, that song's
where
great.
where him and Daniel Craig are driving to the mansion to meet with Jimmy.
The cult she sells
for the first time. Yes, that was actually a temporary song that the editors put in just as a placeholder.
Track,
But they liked it so much that they just like, let's keep it.
I guess it did.
It happens a lot.
Fit. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. They just get married to how it feels and all. Speaking about the scene with Morty and Freddy, where he kicks the living shit out of Freddy
and pours hot tea on his face. Yeah.
Yeah.
Ow.
There was some creative editing though.
Well, I thought the editing was great. I thought the editing was
Did you
great.
notice that?
Yeah.
Yes.
That scene in particular is probably my favorite scene in the movie because it's so strange the way they go in. They do POV shots. They're doing over the shoulder shots. They're doing
the audio's cutting in and out as Freddy's losing consciousness.
Yeah, they're affecting. They're modulating
the sound.
Yeah, they're modulating it. The whole thing. I thought
really
it was
cool.
really good. Yeah, that's a good scene. That's a creative way of using it. I love Morty's response afterwards too, where he's just like, "I'm gonna be gone for a while. Bye.
See ya."
Just walks away.
And Daniel Craig's look of, holy shit, I'm all alone now.
Yeah.
And they do that big Michael Bay sweeping.
I'm what's called an accessory.
This isn't good. We have witnesses here in the diner. This is fantastic. Thanks.
So talking about like things that are good about the movie, like the Morty and Freddy scene, that's a good scene. I will say that the same shot they keep using, and the guy's name I can never remember. It's the guy who played Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde in League of Extraordinary Gentlemen. It's the guy who plays crazy. Was it crazy?
Gene in this movie?
Not Gene. He's the guy who was the supposedly straight guy who liked to have sex with straight men because only what does he say? Only
having sex with women is for puffs.
Yeah.
That's a great line.
Which is the worst thing.
Line.
But yeah, that scene though where they're all old and Colm Meaney and everybody are they're all like 70s long
they're in
hair.
that club. Yeah.
I thought that scene being used as much as it was a little rough, but at the same time I like that they kept going back to that as like a foundation scene of really where the whole thing takes off.
Well, because it makes a big deal towards the end of the movie.
Yeah.
Jason Fleming.
Crazy
Larry. Yeah.
Crazy
Larry.
Yeah.
That's right.
That was a good scene.
Did you catch why the guy shot himself in the head?
Not
because
quite.
Crazy
Not really.
Crazy Larry was using him.
Yeah, Colmini said that whenever he's explaining the story to Daniel Craig on the couch, he says, "Well, what are you going to do whenever the guy is this all started because a guy was being used sexually by some or against his will is what he says. He's being used sexually against his will, and it's Crazy Larry was sleeping with him, and the guy couldn't take it. He couldn't handle it.
That.
Yeah, and he blew his head off over it.
Well, that's probably all the British jib jab.
Well, I think that was another scene where the music was really loud.
Yeah, probably.
The music was fairly loud there. Yeah. So, I don't know.
The scene that there's a ton of scenes that I really like, but one of the most memorable scenes is when Gene, Morty, and Daniel Craig are sitting in Daniel Craig's apartment at his bar, and they're having just a lighthearted chat about crime and killing people.
Yeah, as you do.
Yeah, right, as you do.
Yeah, that's when they're listening to Jeff talk on the recording about being an informant, basically, right?
Jimmy.
Not
Jimmy,
Jeff,
and that's
Jimmy.
right after that. Yeah, they're like, okay, well, I'm not going to kill you now.
Yes.
Let's go have a drink, and they're just chilling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I just whooped your ass, but all right, we're friends
I
again.
really like that shot of that scene that you're talking about where they're listening to the recording. You know, we show Morty listening to it, and then the camera tracks to the right, and then we see Gene on the couch, and then we keep tracking, and then we see Daniel Craig, who's had his ass kicked.
Yes.
And I like I like the scene after that when they're at the bar.
Yeah.
They're actually at the house still, but they're at a house bar and they're just drinking or something like that. And he still looks just beat the shit.
He looks like he's just.
I mean, he did
exhausted.
He got pummeled in that.
Chief O'Brien kicked his ass.
Man.
Yeah.
That's what happened.
Yeah, he beat him with fish.
Yeah.
There were fish in that cooler, and he kept smashing his face into the fish.
Yeah.
Woo.
Yeah.
And then the cooler. Speaking of the cooler, they've got the quote unquote trunk shot. They got the cooler shot looking out of the cooler.
Yeah.
And Gene says, "Yeah, that's the Duke." I'm like, "Oh, you killed the Duke?" He's like, "Eh." He's just like, "Yeah, yeah." And he's like, "The only reason you're not in there is because I like you."
Yeah.
And then Morty goes, "I'm starting to feel left out."
Yes.
Yeah.
Then they had to remind the audience, "Oh, well, you kicked Freddy's ass."
Exactly. You kicked Freddy's ass. So.
Speaking of Daniel Craig, he's really good in this.
Yes.
I think this
Do you
movie
all
got
agree?
him. I think this movie got him Casino Royale.
Yes.
It did.
I
It
think
did.
it
It did. The producers of Casino Royale actually saw the movie and they're like, he could be the next James Bond. Let's screen test him.
He pulls that little gun out
Right.
and starts like doing it down the hallway. And Gene Colmini is looking at him like, "You fucking idiot! Let me see, making sure it's not loaded real fast."
Yeah.
That scene though, whenever he comes around the door and stuff, it's very amateurish. I mean, he's made to look like he doesn't handle a gun off it. But if you imagine him, in a tuxedo and all that stuff, it's pretty easy to see. Yeah, he'd be a good James Bond. So I mean, to me, it makes total sense.
And speaking of that scene, right after that scene, Gene's unloading the gun and they're having a conversation.
Yep.
The cinematography in that scene was awesome.
Oh, I love
Under the table.
Yeah, the shot
under
through
this
the glass.
Yes,
Yeah,
under
that
this
was
glass
cool.
table, you see the glasses as Daniel Craig is pouring the scotch in there, and Gene is taking the gun apart and he's putting it all on the table and everything.
Mm-hmm.
And they're not afraid to cut away from that either,
No,
which
they're
is
not.
interesting because usually if somebody will do that, they'll do that to like highlight something. It'll be on screen for like 3 seconds, 5 seconds, something, but that goes on for like a good 30 seconds.
Well, yeah,
they have a conversation.
Yeah, they have a conversation, and at one point they cut away, they cut out of it, and then went back to it.
Yeah.
which I thought was cool.
Yeah. It's very rare to have a movie cut to a scene that at that crazy of an angle to stay there for such a long time.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think it worked out really well.
Yeah, I like that. But going back to your James Bond thing, on IMDb trivia that I was kind of looking over through this, they said that during the DVD commentary, when this scene comes up, that Craig mentions how he's always wanted to play Bond.
Oh, really?
When that scene was playing.
Yeah.
Well, and speaking of Bond, did you see there's heavy rumors that Tom Hardy is actually going to be the replacement of James
Really?
Bond? Yeah. Which I thought was pretty funny watching this. And like, it was like
I totally forgot Tom Hardy was in this.
It was like 5 days
Well, it's
ago
'cause
or something like that, that this news came out of saying, this is pretty much probably going to happen that Tom Hardy's going to be Daniel Craig's replacement. And I just thought it was funny that he's also in this movie that we're watching.
Didn't we already have a replacement though for 007? Isn't there the black lady?
I thought it was going to be some woman.
Yeah, black woman. Isn't she already the replacement for 007?
007, but James Bond.
So we're going to continue having these like.
So we're going to like diverge.
That's possible.
We're probably. I think. Well, I think Tom Hardy is actually going to take the place of James Bond, but
who's not going to be 007?
Maybe.
She'll probably be retired or something.
Probably.
Who knows?
I'm this close. I'm this close to walking away from it. I'm just saying.
You're just going to cancel it.
It's going to piss me
you'll
off.
be all right.
Well, talking about Tom Hardy though, it's funny with him in this movie. Any movie really before he plays Bane doesn't look like Tom Hardy. Like to me,
he's like just too clean.
Well, it's too clean, too thin.
I was about to say he's thin.
He's like 60 pounds lighter in this movie, and
he's not as muscular.
No, nowhere near it. And he's really got a whiny voice. He's like,
I like Tom Hardy.
I like Tom Hardy, but I like Tom Hardy when he's like in Lawless or when he's in Bane, etc. When he's put on some muscle and he looks like a guy. Facial hair is necessary. Like facial hair is not for everybody, but it's definitely necessary for Tom Hardy because without it, he looks like he's about 12 years old.
Well, and Daniel Craig was a little thin on that movie too.
Oh, super! Yeah, no, totally. He bulked the hell up in Casino Royale.
His James Bond stuff.
I mean, I'm not going to say I rewatched the scene where he's coming out of the ocean or anything.
Like,
no,
man,
but it's
etched in your mind.
Just a touch.
But going back to the actors that are in this film, I didn't realize it either, because of course Daniel Craig is in it, and he, of course, like we've been saying, he plays James Bond, and he's also slated to reprise his role of Benoit Blanc in Knives Out 2.
Oh, really? They're doing a sequel?
Yeah, they're doing a sequel to Knives Out 2.
I didn't like Knives Out.
I did.
I liked it.
Go away.
I didn't
It's
like
really
it.
good.
Just go away. Was it a time problem?
No, I just didn't
Couldn't
like
figure out the time.
it. No, I just didn't like it.
No,
Did this movie have a time issue?
Like it.
No, I thought
This was
movie-
pretty straightforward.
It flowed really well for
Yeah,
you.
even the stuff that because again they jump around in ways that they make it obvious. I mean, they make it to where it all flows
Like the 70s Club. Obviously
70s
a
club.
flashback.
You don't
Yeah, it
watch
was
it
a
and you're
flashback,
like,
yeah.
I don't know, maybe. I mean, it could just be a really like hipster type. No, like you're like it's obviously the 70s. What I think is
No,
funny
there was no
is they
guacamole
took
on the-
Gene and Jimmy though and put them in just really shitty wigs and had them sit on the other side of the
Yeah, that
room.
was great.
And it's like, well, they're far enough away. You can't tell that these are two obviously 55 to 70-year-old men.
Kind of out of focus.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. It's sort of them. No, it's them, just in shitty wigs.
But but going back to the actors, Sir Michael Gambon, who played
Dumbledore.
Eddie Temple,
Yep.
also played Dumbledore in Harry Potter, King George V in The King's Speech, and Arthur in The Kingsman.
Yeah. That dude has an awesome voice. Like
Oh
I was
my
listening to
gosh.
this guy, I was like,
Yeah.
damn, you have a really cool voice.
Yeah, he really does.
Yeah, he's very posh, they would say.
And as in direct contrast to that, Bern Gorman, who played Gaza, also was and I'm gonna butcher this character name, Gottlieb in the Pacific Rim movies.
Oh yeah, yeah.
He was one of the scientists.
Yeah, he's a scientist, the
Yeah.
one who doesn't become obsessed with the big ass kaiju. Kaiju. The one who becomes obsessed is Charlie Day. Charlie Day
Right.
becomes obsessed, where Bern Gorman's character is the one who's like, "This is not a good idea," the whole time, and Charlie Day ends up getting kaiju tattooed all over his arms and shit in the second one.
Right.
Wild card bitches.
He was also in The Frighteners, by the way. In The Frighteners, he's the guy. Wait, no, nope. I take that back. It wasn't him. My fault.
Well,
Different
he can
guy.
also be seen in several TV series, including The Man in High Castle, Turn, and Game of Thrones.
Who's he playing in The Man in the High Castle?
He's one of the scientists, isn't he?
You would ask me that because I didn't write it down.
Oh,
I think he was one of the scientists because he reminds me of one of those characters.
Okay.
I'll look it up.
You
Real
look
quick.
it
Yeah,
up.
one
What was
of
he
our-
in Game of Thrones?
He was Carl Tanner.
I don't remember.
It seems like a very recent name, like a very new name.
This was in the last season. I don't care.
There was
I care
only
way
only
less.
3 episodes
He-
that he was in, I believe. 3 or 4.
Okay.
Four episodes, yeah, in 2013 and 2014. So I forgot what seasons those were.
Second and third.
Maybe.
Well, anyway, while our intern's looking it up.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I look it up.
Well, while he's looking it up, we also have Colm Meaney, who
Yep.
played Gene, is well known from Star Trek TNG, and
Hell on Wheels.
yes, he's in Hell on Wheels. He's also in Deep Space Nine
Yep.
and Con Air. We have, like we said, Tom Hardy, who played Clarky is, of course, Bane from The Dark Knight Rises, Shinzon in the Star Trek Nemesis film, and Max Rockastansky in Mad Max Fury Road. And let's not forget Handsome Bob from Rock'n'Rolla.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Nice.
Tom Hardy, though, too, in Nemesis. You know Nemesis.
Oh, I know Nemesis.
Yeah.
I'm a big Star Trek
I've seen
fan.
it once.
So in Nemesis,
I was forced to watch it.
It's Jean-Luc Picard's...
You're welcome.
It's Jean-Luc Picard's...
Your life is now complete.
It's Jean-Luc Picard's clone.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
And he's bald.
That's right.
And he's
That's
bald.
right.
And I didn't know it was Tom
Wait,
Hardy.
that's Tom Hardy?
Yeah,
Yes.
exactly. I had to go back and like when I heard that Tom Hardy was in Nemesis and he plays the clone of Jean-Luc Picard. I had to go and go rewatch it for a second. I'm like, holy shit, that's Tom Hardy. He weighs about 94 pounds and he's bald headed and he looks ridiculous.
I didn't
And I'm
realize
like,
that was Tom Hardy.
yeah, he's doing his best to not sound British.
And part of the issue with it, and Nemesis, I kid Justin, Nemesis is not one of my favorite Star Trek.
You mean it's one of the worst? Films. Easily? Yeah.
I don't think it's one of the worst either, but it's definitely not the top five. But they dress Tom Hardy in all skin tight clothes.
Yeah.
Right? And so it's like he's already looks like he's anorexic.
Yeah.
And now he's just like, he's like a blade of grass. The wind blows too hard and he whistles.
Yeah. And somehow he's supposed to be like the Khan. He's supposed to be Jean-Luc Picard's Khan, basically.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, and it's just
right.
not. He doesn't pull it off very well.
So yeah, what's his
Burn
name?
Gorman?
Yeah, Burn. Yeah, he was actually the marshal. He was just called the marshal in the Man in the High Castle. I thought he was a scientist, but yeah, he just plays like two.
That's right. He the marshal. He's the major plot point in season 2.
Yeah, he's the only
spoilers. Damn
well,
it!
he was only in 2 episodes of that series.
Well, remember when they go to that town? And,
Yeah.
And they said, "Oh, the marshal's looking for him," and he's like,
Oh yeah,
the cowboy
that's
guy.
Right.
And,
Yeah.
And
that was
The bounty
they're
hunter.
the bounty hunter. That's right.
They're in the not the no-fly zone,
Mining town.
The neutral zone.
neutral zone. There you
Yeah,
go.
the neutral zone.
Yeah. Okay,
Not Star
gotcha.
Trek.
That was him. Okay.
Yeah. That was him.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
All right.
So real quick, by the way, and going away from the actual character or the actual actors for a second, back into the movie. Did you guys catch I don't think you could remake. I don't think you can make this movie today. Okay. The main reason I'm going to say this is the anti-woman sentiment that this movie has.
Yes.
Think about all the women in this movie, right?
2?
There's
just 2.
a crazy bitch and a sex symbol.
Oh, there was 3.
There's 3. Yeah.
There's more
Yeah,
than that.
Hot chick.
Which one's the hot chick, by the way?
The one that Daniel's gonna sleep with.
But never seems to.
I know.
Yeah,
But ended
poor
not.
guy. I felt bad for him.
And somehow falls in love with, but we never see it.
Well, you see him sitting on the edge of the bed. And he's like, oh hell, I gotta answer the door.
Women in this movie are really brought down. Like okay, the American girls that are inside the club that the 2 con men are trying to. What are you going to be? I'm the Duke of Oxford.
Yeah,
like,
that was hilarious.
Stupid.
Oh, those
using their accents.
But no, my point is exactly no. They're push-asides. Exactly.
Yeah, they're push-asides.
The girl that's hanging out with the Duke, the one who they give an Uzi to for some stupid ass reason.
Hell yeah.
And then she ends up killing somebody because of a loud noise. She's an idiot. Then you've got the other plot point, Eddie's daughter, which ends up just being a mess. And again, we never even see her, and she's completely a throwaway as far as the whole. I mean, she's really not 100% necessary. It could have been anything that Jimmy had said, go do this, and then Eddie got pissed off about.
Right, but it had to be something close.
Sure, but again, she's made to look like a complete mess. Mm-hmm. And then you have the blonde who, as far as I can tell, is there just for sex, and that's it. We don't see anything else she's there for.
Well, she sets up the very last shot of the movie.
She sets it up only because the guy is the one who gets upset that he's with it.
Yes.
If she wasn't there, that wouldn't happen.
Technically true. You still could have had it to be, because that was the cousin of the Duke, or the nephew of the Duke. You could have had him get pissed off at Daniel Craig for the... You're saying, it could have easily happened. My point is...
You're right. He could have done a revenge kill for the Duke, but I don't think they were that close.
I think the revenge kill was for stealing his girlfriend.
It was.
It was for killing his girlfriend, or for stealing his girlfriend. But my point is that she wasn't integral to the story in any way.
Yeah.
No, but she was used as a plot device for Daniel Craig to find the location of where the Duke's crew was hiding the pills.
True.
Totally with you. My point though is that women are not portrayed in any kind of real, not even positive, just not any. They're 2D stand-ins. They're cardboard cutouts of people. You just move them around.
Well, now the girls.
It could easily be Daniel Craig visiting some dude, and the dude goes to the bathroom and he goes through his phone.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah.
Now the girls that the two British guys are hitting on, they're just there to more define their characters.
You're right.
I mean, we're not going to learn their backstories.
No, but that's my point, is that women in the movie are throwaways.
However, in the book, we do learn we do know their backstories.
You
You
read
guys
the
know
book
this
of
is
this?
based on a book?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I haven't read the book.
I haven't read the book, but I read about the book.
Okay.
The back cover.
Yeah.
That sounds like such...
Cliff Notes.
Yes,
new
I
statement.
read of it. Is, isn't it? I read about the book.
Did you just read the
And,
back cover of it?
And they're actually, those two are actually in the book. They're actually cops.
Ah.
They're bad. They're obviously bad ones. But
Are they like investigating? Are they undercover investigating the two guys? I wonder.
Weren't they cops
No,
in this
no,
movie?
they're just
But-
bad. They're just cops who are evil. Essentially, they do bad things.
Oh, you're talking about the guys.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I was talking about the women that they were chatting
no,
up at
no.
the
Oh, no,
club
no,
or
no.
I'm
whatever.
talking about the guys.
Okay,
But
gotcha.
weren't they guys in this movie?
but they were
Or were they
cops
con
in this movie.
Well, they never come out and say it. They never come out and say that they're
See,
cops.
that's what I was kind of confused
Because-
about with the raid that happened at the pill store or the pill warehouse.
It can be taken two ways. If you read the book, those cops there could be real cops, and then there's fake cops loading the pills in the Jeep.
Yeah.
right.
Or if you haven't read the book, like I didn't know it was a book until I started doing research for the film.
Yeah.
I took it as the whole thing was set up,
Yeah, that's
and it was a setup because Daniel Craig knew that the wolf, what's his name? Not the wolf.
The
the
dude?
Duke.
no,
No.
the dragon.
The
The
dragon.
dragon.
Yeah.
The dragon was going to be watching because he keeps saying, "I'll be watching you."
Right.
I'll be watching you.
Yeah.
That guy.
So,
I didn't think they were real cops because there's that scene with Tom Hardy and the other henchmen, and they're on the talkie, and Tom Hardy grabs it and he goes, "Bingo bongo," and they start laughing, and then you hear it come over on the other end. Bingo bongo.
yeah.
I mean, it could be just a CB,
So-
like the same radio
Right.
frequency. But
Yeah, 'cause
I loved though. I thought that Cody, one of the two guys, the two cop dudes, right? Dexter Fletcher. He was actually in Band of Brothers.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Which,
I like this guy.
Which I'm
this
like,
actor.
I was like, man, he looks super familiar. Like, where is he from? He
Yeah.
has Band of Brothers.
He's
Like,
one of
oh, yeah.
those. He's one of those actors you see on screen. He's like, I don't know him, but I
Yeah,
know him.
he's
from
been in, like, pretty
these
much
other
everything.
things.
Yeah, it was pretty cool.
Yeah.
So what were you saying?
Well, I was just gonna say the way I took that scene was that the SWAT team were real,
Yes.
And-
I did too.
and those two guys, the con men, they were not real cops. They just dressed it up. They had the two Daniel Craig's henchmen doing the bingo bongo junk on the radio,
Yeah.
and then they just played it up. You idiots! What are you? You know, they
But see,
just got
As like D or like
as like
detectives
higher ups
or something.
Yeah, something like that.
So here's the thing. I agree with you, but what he said, what John's saying about them supposedly being cops makes slightly more sense. The only problem, see, I'm not sure, because the thing is that like they're definitely playing a con on the girls in the club, right? They're definitely
So
playing.
now
a
we
con
know
there.
that they do that.
They do
Right.
that, but they could just be corrupt cops who like to lie to American girls and get them high and
Right.
drunk and then sleep with them. I mean,
Yeah.
that's possible.
Yeah.
What doesn't make sense is if they're not corrupt cops, then when they show up to talk to the SWAT team and to berate the SWAT team, I mean, the SWAT team would be like,
You would think that the
"Who
SWAT
the
team
hell
would
are
know.
you? Yeah,
Right.
like,
Yeah.
who are you?" So
Yeah.
it makes
The
more
only thing I
sense
just
actually
thought
that
it
they're
was
corrupt cops.
maybe they had a badge on. I don't remember the scene quite visually, but maybe they had.
They were
some
just
kind
dressed
of,
up in like trench coats and stuff. Like
Yeah,
they look
they
like
just look
stereotypical
like-
detectives.
Yeah, detectives.
But he put on a
yeah.
fake mustache too. Like he's wearing a fake mustache.
He did, didn't he? Yeah.
So now I'm not sure. I don't know if they
Yeah.
were con men or if they were supposed to be corrupt cops.
If they were real
No.
cops, you
I've
wouldn't
seen
put
this
on a
damn
fake
movie.
mustache.
I've seen this damn movie 7 times, and I'm not sure which one they're
Well,
supposed to be.
According to the book, they're corrupt cops.
Okay.
The movie,
Which makes
The
sense,
movie,
yeah.
you really don't know. I mean, they're obviously corrupt / hitmen /
People
finders.
finder. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
So I
yeah.
mean, pretty much whatever criminal thing that they can get into,
See,
they're
the-
going to do.
The people finder thing again
Now
could
that
go
kinda
either
be
way.
cops, yeah.
Yeah, it could go either way though too. It
Because
could
they
go
have
either way.
access to like the database system
Right.
and all that kind of stuff too.
Jesus,
It's
so, like,
interesting, but you have to go based on the movie though, because
Right.
we aren't privy to that information.
Well, no. The thing
in the
is,
movie.
now I'm trying to rethink like whenever they find Kinky dead in the apartment.
Oh, it was Kinky. Okay, I thought they kept saying Kiki.
Well, shit. Now I'm not sure either.
No,
I thought it was kinky.
I think it is kinky.
It's kinky. I had subtitles on, so I could
Okay.
But now I'm not sure because there's some of that scene that no matter how many times I've seen it, the language was so good. I'm not really sure. Like it was so like just mumble mouthed. I'm not sure what the hell was said in some parts of it, and it's possible that they said, "Look here, you, I'm a cop." Like for all I know, and that could easily. Damn, now you got me wondering which way it is.
They
I'm going to have to watch this movie again.
You're talking about when they're berating the SWAT team?
No, whenever they break into the apartment, they go into the apartment, they find Kinky dead, and the two cops, con men, whatever you want to call them, are there, and they're interrogating the three junkies, one of which is just passed out on the end of the and then the other two are arguing over what to tell, who's going to tell first. It's a ridiculous scene. Again, there's some funny stuff.
He starts like just throwing cash. It's like
because they're junkies, they're going crazy.
They're just going to use it to buy more drugs. But you know what's pretty funny? You said about Dragon. His real name is Dragon.
In the movie?
The actor? No, the actual actor's name is Dragon.
Oh wow.
His last name?
It's Dragon McGonovic.
His real first name is Dragon.
His real name is Dragon.
See, that's one of the situations where he got hired onto the film, and they went, we have this character, and his name is like Mr. Batty. And they're like, oh, it's so stupid, Mr. Batty. It doesn't even sound real. What's your actual name? Dragon.
Dragon. Oh.
Wait, what?
Fantastic.
No way.
Right.
Well, shit, that's going to be that's the name of the killer, the contract killer now.
Yeah,
that's it.
So cool.
I don't know. The overall for this movie though too, it's definitely it's a fun-ish movie to watch because it has a good pace. It's got a good like continental feel to it as far as like being a European movie. Mm-hmm. Daniel Craig, I mean, he's the main character, but he steals the whole fucking movie. Like there's the one scene where they're sitting at the Stockton Club, and he's sitting with Mortimer and Gene and Jimmy, and Jimmy asks him something, and he's like, "Oh," he says, "What do you want? What do you want?" And he's like, "What do you mean?" And he's like, "Out of life, what do you want?" And he leans in. He's like, "I don't know. What do you?
That's
think?"
an expensive question.
That's a question. Yeah.
And it just that one scene, you're like, "Damn, this guy, he's definitely got something." The problem is he's kind of like Vince Vaughn. Okay, in this sense. So Vince Vaughn, no matter what movie you watch, it's Vince Vaughn. So if you have Vince Vaughn, if he's going to be a basketball coach, it's in this movie, Vince Vaughn's a basketball coach, or
right.
Vince Vaughn's going to be a football player. Oh, okay, Vince Vaughn in this movie is a football player, like
so
he was in Rudy.
Is it always going to be the person in Wedding Crashers?
Yeah, that to me is always him.
That's his thing.
So he was like frat boy when he was younger, like when he was in Rudy.
Right.
He was like frat boy football player, and then you fast forward to now he's like middle-aged frat boy. That's every movie he's in. It's Vince Vaughn. Daniel Craig has this thing where I can't break him out of being James Bond. Like that movie, I'm like, oh, even in Layer Cake, I'm like looking at him like, oh, okay. So he's got this James Bond way about him.
So you feel like he's typecasted now after playing Bond? Well, how many Bond movies has been in? About five or six, right?
I think it's 5. I think this is 6 coming out. Okay. But he's just so suave. And I think in terms of James Bond, like he's not a good looking guy to me. His face is not. He's not like a traditionally what I would call like an attractive man, right? And yet there's something about him that you're like, no, he's handsome. He's got something about him that brings it back around to where like, no, he is actually a traditionally looking guy.
I think he gives off this affable.
You think that's
kind of thing about him on screen?
Kind of like an aloof prick to me, but at the same time, again, like when he leans across the table, he kind of, I'm like, I want to see what he's going to say. You know what I mean?
But
it has me interested.
I understand what you're saying about he's just got that suave feel about him because he was that way in Knives Out too.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
He was very. I mean, it was literally if James Bond took a side job as a detective.
And I think they wrote that character specifically for him.
They probably did.
I have no facts to back that up, but I'm pretty darn sure.
Have you guys ever seen Defiance? The one with
I haven't seen Defiance. No.
Oh crap! What's his name? Wolverine's brother from the other
mother.
Liv Schreiber,
oh, yeah.
Right?
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so in Defiance, they're it's World War II, and they're Polish brothers, I believe, and they end up living in the woods and saving a bunch of Jews in the woods. It's a good movie. In that movie, Daniel Craig is not James Bond, but you had to take him and stick him into World War II, cover him in mud,
in the forest,
make him carry the gun that they call
like an MP40.
MP40.
Is it an MP40?
It looks like
that
an
was
MP40.
a German
It was the one that you flip open the little door, and then when it's open,
Oh,
you're
the grease gun?
Grease
Grease
gun. It's a
gun,
grease
yeah.
gun. So he's carrying a grease gun the whole thing.
Yeah,
but you have to do that to make him not look like James Bond to me. You know, I mean that's pretty extreme. So, but no, I mean this whole movie, whenever he's walking around, he's got the one button, undone on his shirt, and he's wearing the jackets with the jeans and stuff, which is not a good look. But he pulls it off. I'm like, Jesus.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's not my celebrity crush by any means, but he's definitely got something. So.
Changing gears.
Yeah.
I wonder if anyone has noticed that we've always referred to Daniel Craig as Daniel Craig.
Yeah, because there's
not
no narrator.
His character name.
Yeah, because there isn't one.
Yeah, there isn't a name.
There isn't.
And
a
you were
name.
about, and I was so pissed off. So pissed off at the very end when he said, and
my name is
blah, blah, bang, bang, bang. I was like, shit.
Yeah.
We didn't get his name.
No,
and then I looked in the credits and I was like, oh, it's
It's
just
a thing.
XX.
quadruple
X,
X.
yeah.
I was like, damn it.
Do
Do you have a reason why?
I do.
Oh,
actually.
okay. Yeah.
Let's hear it.
The author of the book, J.J. Conley, designated his protagonist as XXX in his mind until he could think of a suitable name for the character.
Which he never
It
did.
just stuck.
Ultimately, he decided that the character didn't need a name
You're right.
to
Wow.
make the story be effective.
Yeah.
So, and I think that is
That's
one of the
interesting.
most interesting things about this film is you have a main character who is nameless.
Yeah.
Huh.
No
I
one
don't think I
ever
caught that
says
the
his
first
name in
time.
the film. No one ever. It's
Yeah, because I mean, throughout the whole movie, I'm thinking, man, what the hell's this guy's name?
right. Well, because I'm taking notes as I'm watching
Everybody
the
else
film.
has
I'm
a
taking
name.
notes, and I'm going, yeah, this would be interesting. This would be interesting. And I'm going, I'm talking about Morty. I'm talking about Gene. I'm talking about Jimmy. I'm
Yeah.
talking about Eddie. And I'm like, what's his name?
So I have a theory as to why. The whole movie, he's the criminal that doesn't want to be a criminal, right? Everybody else.
This is one more job and I'm out.
Yeah,
Yeah.
He's that guy, right?
Yeah.
But everybody else is completely just absorbed in.
They're
no,
100% in.
Yeah, so you got Crazy Larry, you got
Gene.
you got whatever Gene's nickname is, because there were nicknames for everybody in this stupid movie. You got the
Yeah.
Duke, you got Dragon, who's apparently actor's name is actually
It's
Dragon.
actually Dragon.
But so you got all this. I think by him not having some silly ass moniker like Slippery Joe or whatever,
Suave Craig.
Suave Greg. There you go.
Gaza.
Yeah, panty dropping Peter.
What was the Duke's girlfriend's or wife or what was?
Oh,
her
I
name?
don't know.
I don't know her name.
It was like crazy. It was
Was
something.
it Slasher?
Yeah.
Slasher.
Slasher.
Slasher?
That's
Yeah,
right.
That's what I'm saying. I think that because he doesn't have that name, he doesn't have it. He's not really a part of this world. He's trying to constantly not be a part of this world. I mean, yeah, he's definitely
I hear
made
you.
money from it and everything else, but his whole mindset is like, I'm doing this as a means to an end. These people want to live in it. They want to be, Jimmy especially. Look at Jimmy. I mean, he's getting off on the fact that he can order Daniel Craig's character to do whatever he wants to do. He
Yeah.
gets off on that. Morty, spent 10 years in jail because he took a stupid ride in the back of a car with a guy who fell asleep with a dead body in the back. So, I mean, there's a certain amount of like acceptance by every other character that they want to revel in this. They want to be a part of it.
I hear you.
And Daniel Craig doesn't. I think it lends to that, but
I like
Yeah.
that.
without
makes
reading
sense.
the book, I
didn't-
could be way off, but I mean,
I did not realize this, but Slasher, Sally Hawkins, she was actually in Shape of Water.
the one
Oh,
with
holy crap,
Paul
she was.
Giamatti.
Oh,
No.
No.
I'm thinking Lady in the Water. My fault.
no,
I'm
no,
like,
the bestiality movie.
The Shape of Water.
The Guillermo
Guillermo del Toro.
I cannot say his name.
Guillermo.
Thank you.
Guillermo del Toro.
Thank you.
Yeah.
We get the Cuban expert in here to say that.
To say
excellent.
Guillermo.
Thank you. Thank you.
You're worth every cent we're paying you.
Yes.
Wow.
Checks in the mail.
5 episodes. I had to use, I guess, Spanish. I guess we're going to call it that. Like, to say the guy's first name.
I mean, we all had an issue actually like listening to the Queen's English. So
Oh, man. You know what I had a
That's
problem
America.
with that?
Man,
Damn
that
it.
wasn't just the Queen's English. That was some Cockney. In
Oh, yeah,
there.
that
was
It was
some-
all
was
kinds
all-
of.
There was Scottish
Yeah,
accents.
North,
there
South,
was
Welsh.
Irish accent. I mean, it was
Yeah.
all over the place.
You had Northern England, Southern England, Welsh.
Well,
It
and,
was rough.
interesting enough, the guys in Amsterdam
Mm-hmm.
that the Duke stole the pills from, they were speaking. They were supposed to be in Amsterdam, which they speak
Dutch.
Dutch,
Romanian.
but they're actually speaking
Romanian.
Romanian.
Yeah.
Really?
Well, yeah. Do you know why?
Because that was
That was just their
That-
meetup place?
well, no, that was actually the character, the the actor's language was Romanian.
Yeah,
Okay.
that guy played the radical in Summer of All Fears with Ben Affleck and Morgan Freeman, and he's the one who makes the bomb that ends up being carried over into the United States and blows up and everything else, right?
Okay.
That actor, though, what they said is that they were that Romanian group was in Amsterdam because they were wanted. They were wanted for war crimes in Layer
Oh, is that what
Cake.
they
Yeah,
said?
they said
Oh,
they were
okay.
like they're hiding there because they're wanted for fucking war crimes.
Oh,
and, you guys
that one.
and now you guys are stupid enough to go steal from them. And Tom Hardy's like, whoa, we have nothing. We weren't associated with it. And the other guy's like, fair enough, but at the same time, it doesn't look good, does it? And he goes, no,
it doesn't.
I accept that. Yeah, that's
It's
true.
like you caught him red-handed there.
Well, yeah, and I mean, they're like, and you're gonna steal from somebody who's known for taking heads. What are you guys doing?
Yeah.
It's like you're gonna.
It's like you're going to deal with
This may
business
not
with
be
that guy?
smart.
Well, and one thing too is since we're on this group, Daniel Craig essentially dies from this.
Yeah.
From this whole
Well, we-
venture.
do we
right?
Do you
assume?
think he does?
I don't think if he was put in that situation, he would have been dead. I think the events of the movie caused his death.
Well, no, what I'm
Okay.
asking is, do you actually think he dies?
That's what I'm asking.
Yes.
Yeah.
You think he dies?
Well,
Okay.
the ending scene does fade to white. So
Oh, did it?
that does symbolize somewhat death. So,
So could Black.
well, I guess so, but you usually see white. Anyway, go ahead, John.
Okay, since we could now
Yeah, go ahead.
with life and death, our life and death discussion.
Sure.
When Dragon
Mm-hmm.
returns the head of the Duke
Yes.
to the Romanians.
Yeah.
He opens up the cooler and he's like, "Okay, it's good." And he's like,
There he is.
And he goes, "Yeah, there he is, right?" And he goes, "Oh, the pills?" And he goes, "Nah, the police got him." He's like, whatever."
Yeah.
It was just the thing that caused all of this problem.
It was just because
just
of those million pills.
Well, it was just a throwaway thing to
Right.
the people who wanted revenge.
yeah, because they had
It
a
was
whole
like, just like whatever.
they had a whole
Yeah, they got a
manufacturing
billion
Yeah,
line.
yeah. It was just the principle of the thing.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, it was
I mean,
respect.
Right.
I'm not a criminal, but I imagine that in a criminal venture, allowing people to steal from you seems like a bad idea for business. So, I mean,
It doesn't look good on you.
totally makes sense to me that he would be like, okay, well, I can't let people think they can come here and just steal from us.
Right.
I want the guy's head to prove that I'm the type of person who
We
will
mean
take your
business.
head over stealing from me.
Yeah.
Right.
Here we go.
I think it's funny that two organizations were like, "Oh man, we got to get our hands on these pills," but
Well,
yet
it's a lot of money.
in the higher sense of things, like the Romanians are like, it's just one shipment.
Yeah,
Like,
they're like,
it's-
whatever.
It wasn't even that. It was 4 boxes.
Well,
Yeah, right.
It was only 4 boxes.
like-
By the time it was all said and done, they've got 20
what
or 30
I said,
boxes.
it was
yeah.
one shipment.
Yeah.
That's it. They have a whole operation going on back where they came from. It's
The
like,
Duke trying to
screw
find
it.
the operation, by the way, and they're driving around. They're like, it's a fucking greenhouse. How many greenhouses can they be? And they pan back, and there's like 50,
Yes.
100 greenhouses. I'm like, yeah.
You're in the land of tulips.
Stupid asses.
Yeah, pretty much.
well, and remember, Dumbledore's character. What's his name?
Eddie. Yeah.
When he drops Daniel Craig off when he's in his robe or whatever. His
Yeah.
Robe with jeans.
Yeah. He pulls down the window and he says, "Oh yeah, one more thing."
What's about business as being a good middleman or
Right.
something like that. Yeah. Yeah.
That's what it all boils down to.
yeah, because they're all middlemen. Yeah.
And Daniel Craig says that a couple times in the movie too.
Well,
So-
especially after that, he says, if I believe it was right after the guys from the north, the ones who basically told them about the Romanians being wanted for war crimes and all that stuff. They knock off Eddie's crew, the ones driving the Land Rover. They kill them,
Right.
and then Daniel Craig makes this thing about, had he never told me about being a good middleman, I'm so glad that he did, or he says something.
Yeah.
I don't know. There's a bunch of. Okay, this is one thing that does kind of bother me. There's a bunch of dialogue that seems to center around like a deeper meaning, but it's not really that deep. Like there's
superficial.
There's parts of it that seem very superficial. I like the movie overall, but there's parts of it that I'm like, okay, it's like you're trying to get to this deeper meaning thing, but it's not.
But
really
are they
there.
not deeper because we're not a criminal? Would they be deeper to, especially, I mean, if he's never heard that,
Yeah.
and he's been a criminal arguably the majority of his life, and
Yeah.
he's never heard that, maybe it is a deeper meaning, because ultimately being a good middleman, he set up that whole, he set up the last meeting where the guys from the North were able to kill the guys and to kill the guys from Eddie's crew and steal the pills and thus give him the retirement money.
Yeah, that $3 million.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, and it's possible. Maybe that's, I don't know. I mean, maybe that's what I know the layer cake thing, he explains it. Like, you know, you guys have told me to, like, he explains it at the end. I kind of ignored that for the most part. I know that seems ridiculous, but to me, the layer cake aspect of this is just the layers of things that he has to go through in the movie. It's not just go here, talk to the Duke, make a deal, next scene. It's like we're going to argue with the Duke because the Duke thinks every pill is worth $5 and then £5, sorry.
Yeah.
And then, and then at the same time, you've got Cole Meany Gene working with the Duke behind everyone else's back, which I thought was interestingly kind of shuffled under the rug a little bit. Then you've got Morty with all his bullshit. That's layered on top of that. There just seems to be like layer on top of layer that this guy's going through in a very short amount of time. Yeah. It's like this all happens in like 4 days.
Yeah, I think the title has a double meaning because of that.
Yeah, it's possible. Yeah.
And did you notice when Craig was telling his boys, his posse at the end, that he's retiring, that they're all eating layer cake?
Yes.
Yeah.
That was pretty funny.
I was like, that's on the nose, but it's funny.
There's quite a few things that are on them. That's what I'm saying. Like, if there's one thing I would criticize it about, like overall the entire film, is that there's just some stuff that for some reason they felt the need to state. They felt the need to like purposefully do. There's some cool stuff that they do, which is what makes me like the movie. But there's some things like that are like, okay, well, I don't know.
Yeah, that's just a little.
It was just a little
tongue-in-cheek.
joke. Yeah, I don't think it was like meant to have any deeper meaning of them eating layer cake or point out, hey, we're eating layer cake. But I mean, I think it was.
If they had done that, I would definitely like the movie even less.
Yeah, for sure.
This layer cake's delicious.
Welcome to.
Actually, no, it'd be because we can't understand what the hell they're saying.
I hate this movie.
Well, just one thing. Did you guys look at the budget or the gross?
No.
I have a guess.
I did not.
Okay, cool.
I have a guess.
All right. So
are we doing British or?
Oh god.
Well, this is GBP, which is the
Great
British pound.
British
British pound. It's an estimation, so I would say let's just go by pounds.
Sure. So 2004. Remember?
2004. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna say 12 million pounds.
So do your inflation.
Okay. So 12 million pounds by Eddie.
I'm going to say higher just because of some of the actors that are involved in the production quality.
But remember, none of these actors were actually big actors back then.
Ooh, you're right.
Tom Hardy was actually one of the biggest actors. I
know
but Tom Hardy was one of the biggest actors
you
because
you want to go ahead and give another guess for me?
Right.
But remember, because in Nemesis, because Nemesis was what, 97, 98, I think, when it came out. He was one of the bigger actors.
Okay, but hold on. When did Harry Potter come out? That was like 2000.
It was during that time.
Yeah, and so Dumbledore was in this, right?
That was the wrong Dumbledore. That was the other guy.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, I'm gonna go 20.
Okay, so you got 12, 20. Okay.
21, Bob.
All right. Well, you guys way over.
Way over.
Ooh,
really?
So I was the closest.
Yes, you're the closest.
There we go.
With 4 million pounds.
Yeah.
Wow.
Nice.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Especially since it's also Sony Picture Classics, which is a Sony's independent house.
Gotcha.
And typically they end up being lower budget movies as well. I didn't give you that nugget of information.
Yeah, I didn't think about that.
Yeah,
So
that
now,
blue screen that they use, that Sony
so
Picture
you're
screen.
using layer cake on me.
Oh.
So many layers of the film industry.
So many layers of the film industry.
I'll fucking quit. No, I'm just kidding.
You can't. We don't know Spanish.
Before you quit,
You have to say go Toro.
before you quit, now we gotta guess the cumulative worldwide gross.
Oh dear.
I'm going to
this thing
go
made.
12 million pounds, Bob.
Okay.
Is it in pounds, this too?
No, this is actually in dollars.
Oh, okay. I'm going to say 15 million.
Okay.
I'll stick at 20 million.
Okay. John?
25.
25. It was actually, you would have been almost right on the money with 12 million. So it's 11,850,000.
Wow.
Yeah. It wasn't a popular movie.
Not really. No.
No, again, it's
The opening
because of
weekend
that.
in the U.S., anyways, was only $81,000.
Yeah. Two things. It went to two things. One, it wasn't playing at a lot of it only opened, I think, at like maybe 40 or 50 multiplexes, and then after that it played in a lot of independent houses.
May 15th, 2005 is when it was opened in the U.S.
Okay.
So it was, I guess, technically summer.
Very beginning of
summer. So
yeah.
it was like, wasn't really a summer blockbuster, but yeah.
The other problem that it had was that it felt like a Guy Ritchie film, but it had none of the Guy Ritchie money.
Right.
So
Yes.
you end up with this, And I'm sorry, but as Americans too, we expect it to be in 1080 or at least 720, and this movie was easily shot in SD or possibly on traditional film. But I mean, it's
there
not
was CinemaScope stuff in there.
I think it was film.
Yeah,
It was film.
It was
It had
very
to be.
very
looked like
grainy.
film.
It was very grainy.
Then it might have been early HD.
Could have been early HD, sure, but it definitely it needs to look a little bit more clean for American audiences. I think.
Yeah.
I don't think we like blurry that
Because
much.
when the Red first came out, they were trying to tout that as this is the new alternative to film because it's cheaper and it's digital, it's HD and all that. The first few movies that I saw that were shot on Red were grainy. They looked.
Did you see
kinda like
Sunday Bloody Sunday?
No.
It was a riot movie about Northern Ireland, and it was one of the first movies that they shot completely on HD camera, on digital camera, excuse me. And it was parts of it were grainy as shit, especially action stuff. And they filmed it at I think they filmed it at 36 frames per second or something. So it's jittery, it's very jittery.
Because I've always heard that the first movie completely shot on completely shot on Red, and maybe that's the difference.
Yeah.
Was The Knowing with
Nick Cage. Yeah. No, that's
by the way,
apocalypse movie.
This was shot in 35 millimeter. So
it feels like someone
movie.
took Vaseline and went right across the lens to make it, have that nice glow.
Well, speaking about the whole gross domestic and all that, going to the Rotten Tomatoes scoring here. Did anybody look
High
those
as
up?
shit. Yeah, it was 7.
We're gonna do another game here.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So,
My
John, since this was your movie, would you like to go first of what the audience decided? Remember, it's a 1 to 100%.
I'm gonna say 77.
77. Eddie? Well, you already know.
Actually, I don't remember the audience score.
Okay.
I'm gonna go 85.
Okay.
I'm going to go 65.
It's 84.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
You almost said it.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
And then the critic score. Anybody?
That one I kind of remember.
Okay.
Yeah.
Was it, let's see, 75%.
65.
80%.
Wow.
Dang. Wow.
So this is one of those movies where it's lopsided, where the critics actually scored it just slightly lower
Yeah.
than the audience at 84.
This is weird, by the way. None of those scores were the ones I saw.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I remember 73 being in there for some reason. So that's weird.
I have a question for you.
Sure.
How many times does the word fuck
Ooh.
or its derivatives and its derivatives all together, how many times in the movie?
Like fuck off or
yeah, all
fuck you
that.
or something.
I saw this,
all
so
that-
I'll
all that
abstain.
goes- Okay.
38.
ooh. I'm gonna go 102.
No. 210 times.
No way.
I didn't catch them all.
Oh
Well,
no.
Didn't catch them all at all, but yeah, 210 times.
So what you're
It
saying
definitely
is
doesn't
if,
feel like
if
it cusses that much.
so if what you're saying is if this was a drinking game of how many times the F word was
You'd be dead.
mentioned,
well,
you'd be dead.
we got to remember that
or at least
that,
200 drinks of a beer or something.
that they're including the derivatives and the British derivatives of the
Bloody.
Right.
Yeah.
That's one.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, all that all those, right?
Yeah.
So
Okay.
Yeah, then there's
So
a
not
lot.
it's
just-
not like Reservoir Dogs. Not
Oh, right.
Reservoir Dogs.
Pulp Fiction.
No.
the other Tarantino film.
The Saints. Boondock
Oh,
Saints.
Boondock
Boondock
It's,
Saints.
it's not. It's not that where he drops all the
Oh, man.
the variations of the F
The guy
bomb.
with the Tourette's.
Fuck, 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 fuck.
No, I'm talking about. Was it named Rocco?
Yep.
Fuck.
Is it Rocco?
Yeah.
No, he's Rocco. He in the he drops in from the ceiling.
Yes.
Right.
Okay. Yeah.
And he's like,
That's
"What
right.
the f you effers?"
Yeah.
That's right. And then it just pauses and it's like, yeah. So Kyle, this was your first time watching Layer Cake. Did you see that the sniper that they hired to take out the dragon? Did you see that coming? That he was gonna get counter sniped, I guess.
I kind of did
Right.
because the it was almost too perfect of a situation that was going to unfold, and I'm thinking, okay, so if this dude is like the dragon, if he's who he is, then he's obviously going to camp out the site way before Daniel Craig does, because Daniel Craig, he's just trying to be a badass, but this in all seriousness, the dragon is where it's at in all the like, oh yeah, meet me at this place. It's like, okay, well, you gave me the location, so I'm going to counteract everything that you do.
Yeah.
Daniel Craig, whenever he first talks to Dragon, though, and he's like,
do you know where I live? No. Oh, fuck off.
Yeah. My favorite was that he invites him to breakfast. He's like, how about I'll make some eggs, some coffee, etc. Come on by. And he's like, how does that sound? He's like, it sounds very hospitable. And he's like, okay, well, do you know where I live? He's like, no. He's like, well, then fuck off. I'm like,
I love that. That was
well
good.
played.
That was a good scene.
Well played. Yeah. That's what I'm saying. Like but it's done seriously. Like the thing I enjoy about this movie, the reason why I said it was a comedy whenever John talked about it last episode, was because it feels there's enough levity in it that it feels like a comedy, even though it's all done as a very, very serious movie. It's like, but it still has some laughing moments. So.
But now I did see potentially the sniper on Daniel Craig's side shooting the wrong guy.
Yeah, I saw that too.
Yeah. I did foresee some of that happening potentially. I'm thinking, okay, this dude's just going to be grabbing for something else or just sticking his hand in his pocket or something like that.
The guy ends up
it was just sticking out a camera,
Yeah.
and right when the shot rang out, I was like, oh shit, just going to get shot, and he's just trying to take a picture of the damn view or something
when they flung the blood across the leaves, I was like, nope, he's dead.
That was him. Yep. Okay.
This is probably the third time I think I've seen this movie, and it even surprised me watching it again for some reason, even though I knew it was going to happen for some reason. But
yeah.
Okay, so I guess it's time to let's go ahead and rate this. And since John, it was your pick, you get the honor of going first, sir.
Okay. I am going to give this because of the cast of characters, and all of them were phenomenal. I
agree.
I can't think of one actor or actress that did a poor job, and also the fact that neither one of the four of us realized that this was a book. That says something to me about the filmmakers, because
I'm just curious why.
Because I was getting.
Oh, okay.
Because there's a lot of times, like not most recently, but I was watching Divergent, right? And so I'm going, this cuts like a book, and so I hopped on. I looked up. Oh, that's because it's a book. There are a lot of movies nowadays that you can tell by how they're edited that they're a book. Okay. And I didn't get that in this film. It flowed.
So it was a
very
good
well.
adaptation.
Yes.
Cool.
And I honestly, I just love the story. The story itself to me is one that I can get lost in, and nothing takes me out of the film.
Okay.
Right. So I am going to give this one a solid 8.
Solid 8. Okay. What about Eddie?
I'm still confused by what you mean by, like, if it cuts like a what? How does something cut like a book?
Chapters. It feels like the way the scenes are cut together.
Yeah.
Feels like chapters of a book, where they'll be in one area of the land or whatever we're in, and then it'll be in another area and tell this story. Then we're going to tell this plot point. Then we're going to go back and tell this plot point. Then we're going to over here and tell this other plot point with different characters and different people.
Is it just means like it's just too structured?
It's not necessarily structured, but it doesn't flow.
Everything kind of has a beginning and end or something like that, or
right. It seems like it's almost like I'm reading a James Patterson novel, where James Patterson really does. The reason his books flow really well for me is he has very short chapters. I think his chapters are 5 pages max. Some of them are a page and a half.
It's like 150 chapters or something.
Right. Yeah. But I mean, they're thick books. But there's a definite beginning of the scene and end of the scene.
Yeah. They kind of wrap up a little bit, like at the end of a chapter.
Right. Yes.
Yeah. So it's like a beginning and an end in a scene. Like okay, now we know where this person stands. Let's go take a look at this other scene.
Right.
And see, I think this movie did that. Just did it by blending the scenes.
I don't think it did, but okay.
It was almost like if The Man with the Iron Heart was from a book or something.
That would be the worst book. I think if it was from a book, it was from like 3 books, right? And they went, wait, we don't know which one we want to
or 3 chapters.
Oh, jeez, still not good.
So what are you rating Layer Cake at?
I would probably put it. I'd probably put it at like a 6.5.
Okay, a 6.5.
Yeah, because it's definitely. I mean, it's exciting. It's got a lot of good elements to it. It's not perfect. There's definitely flaws in it, but it's not something that I would be like, oh shit, really again? Like the only thing that really would make me not want to watch it again is just that I don't feel like it's aging well. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I kind of agree.
Yeah, and I'll be honest, I'm not a big drug movie guy. Like I don't like watching, like I couldn't get into Breaking Bad. Like I watched a season and like 2 episodes of Breaking Bad. I just can't get into it. I don't find people who are doing drugs redeeming and shit. Like people who can deal, I just can't do it. So the drug story and stuff, it's a backdrop in this. That's why I'm saying I wouldn't be upset, but at the same time it makes it to where I don't connect with it as well, you know?
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So yeah.
So 6.5. All right.
Yeah.
Okay. So I think I'm leaning towards John. I really enjoy this movie. I love the soundtrack. I love the actors that are in it. I think the unsung hero character of this is the guy who shoots that annoying bitch.
Yeah, that was
the bald guy with the mustache.
The bald guy. Yeah. He doesn't get enough credit in this movie.
That Gene ultimately takes credit for him.
Yeah.
Yes.
For him killing.
Like, yeah, I did it.
Yes.
Yeah, I killed him.
Well, he doesn't actually verbally say it. He just kind of like shrugged his shoulders, like, yeah.
I did like that scene though. He shoots the chick and then he just looks over. Is that okay?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
He was like wanting his approval. Like, is this okay?
I know.
a
I like
late if it's
how
not.
he did it and then asked for permission.
Yeah, and then he's like, okay.
Better get my hand slapped, right?
I think Daniel Craig did an amazing job in this. I really like what's his name, Colm Meaney.
Yes.
Yeah, the guy who plays Gene. He's one of those actors that you see but you don't really know his name.
You should watch Hell on Wheels. The series
you know what?
for Hell on
What's
Wheels.
funny is I forgot he was in this movie.
Yeah.
And I started looking him up to see what other stuff he was in. I saw that he's on Hell on Wheels, and I was like, okay, I might have to give that a shot.
Yeah, he plays Durant in Hell on Wheels, and dude, I like Hell on Wheels. The last season is not great. That's why it's the last season.
Yeah.
But the rest of it, oh man, the first season in particular is awesome.
And he does honestly, and I mean, granted, I do have some bias because I'm a big Star Trek fan, but in Deep Space Nine, he plays Chief O'Brien, where he's the head engineer of the space station, and he plays, to me, one of the most complex characters in all of Deep Space Nine. He has this backstory that you don't really get to know in the series, but you can tell that he's been in some crap.
Yeah,
because he hates everybody.
Yeah, I was gonna say even in Deep Space Nine though, there's racist, and it's him.
Yeah, it's him. Yeah, it's essentially he hates this alien race. He hates this alien race because somewhere along the line, he has had some type of run in with. I mean, it's all
gotcha.
Yeah, so I mean, I watch Deep Space Nine, Justin. It's okay.
But Hell on Wheels is what
I probably will get. I probably will get into Hell on Wheels.
Hell on Wheels is actually pretty good, and my wife, who does not like Westerns loves Hell on Wheels.
Yeah.
So what's your score?
I'm gonna give it an 8 as well. But one more thing that I wanted to talk about, the plethora of natural transitions was really interesting to me. Anybody notice almost every scene had a natural transition to go from major scene to major scene?
Had a natural transition?
Yeah.
Like I noticed the one that they're going between the Duke at the boatyard, and then they go over to Jimmy and Daniel Craig sitting at the table. They go across the table of drugs, and then when they come over, it ends up on a cigarette lighter.
Yeah. And
Jimmy at the cigar. That's the only one I really noticed.
There's tons of them.
I noticed a lot of smash cuts.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of smash cuts.
Especially between the future and the past.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of future and past in this. So
well, there are tons of them.
Okay.
I could go on, but I'm gonna give it an 8 as well. It's a pretty good movie. It's fun. It's entertaining. There we go. So Kyle.
All right. Well, just I guess ditto on all of what you guys said. You pretty much spoke about everything that I was going to speak about, but just my rating, I think I'm going to give this probably a solid 7.
Solid 7.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay. Well, so if we divide all that up, what we get is a 7.4 for Layer Cake.
Cool. Very good.
I think I'm seeing a trend, by the way.
What?
Why?
I'm always going to have the lowest score on every movie.
Probably.
Not always.
Yeah, not always.
I think you had the highest on yours on the Signal.
Might be. I have to go back and look. Go to the website at AmericanPodcasting.net and then click on shows and then Screen Riot. where you can see a table of all of our past ratings and what each one of us rated.
We call that a natural transition, kids.
Yeah, that's a natural transition. That's a smash cut to the end of the show.
Or in the industry, we call it a segue.
Yeah.
Segue.
So we only got one more thing to do before we head out of here, and that is to spin the Wheel of Fate. So right now, it's only between Kyle and I.
Yeah.
And we've got, 6 or 7 genres still to go, something like that.
That's a lot of genres left.
Yeah, there's 7 or 8.
So let's go ahead and spin for the host.
Okay, here we go. And the victim is Justin.
Oh, man.
So maybe you're right, Eddie. Maybe it will always be Kyle at the last.
Maybe I'm the one that just brings up the rear.
Yeah. So
We call him Crazy Kyle, by the way. What's up, Crazy Kyle?
Hey, handsome Kyle.
That's right. Bring up.
So let's spin for my genre.
All right, here we go.
And God, I hope I don't get romance.
Do it.
Oh,
Get
come
it.
on. It's no, it's just still going. And it will be a thriller.
Thriller.
Nice.
Thriller. Okay, let me.
I had a good one.
All right, so for my thriller, I'm going to pick a movie from 1987, Angel Heart.
Angel Heart.
Has anybody seen Angel Heart?
I have not seen it.
I don't know.
It's with
think I've seen it.
Mickey Rourke, Robert De Niro.
Yes, I have seen it.
Okay.
Okay.
I have not seen it.
Okay.
Do you have a
So-
synopsis?
I do have a synopsis. A private investigator is hired by a man who calls himself Louis Cypher to track down a singer named Johnny Favorite. But the investigation takes an unexpected and somber turn.
Uh-oh. It's got a character named Johnny in it.
Yeah, Johnny Favorite.
Johnny Favorite
I'm
versus
notice-
Johnny
I'm no-
Dangerously.
I'm noticing
Exactly.
a theme
There's
here,
a theme.
Justin.
Every movie I pick is going to have a character
So
named Johnny.
so next week it's
with
going
a
to be
stupid
Short
ass
Circuit.
last name.
Yeah, I'm going to have a Johnny in
I'm
mine.
Johnny Five. Johnny Five is alive.
Yep. So thanks for listening to another episode of Screen Riot. If you're going to join us for our next episode, remember that's going to be Angel Heart from 1987, starring Robert De Niro, Mickey Rourke, and Lisa Bonet.
Nice.
All right.
Bonet.
Bonet.
Bonet?
You're right. That is Bonet, not Bonnet. I didn't know you were also French.
Yeah, right? Well, we have our expert Cuban French.
Our language
Cuban?
expert.
Yeah.
Guillermo del Toro.
I just couldn't
And
spit out his
Bonnet.
name.
It's Lisa Bonnet.
I'm horrible with names, all right?
That's awesome.
Yeah, so don't forget to check out our Patreon, patreon.com/Screen Riot. Check out our website, americanpodcasting.net. And also go and rate us on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, everywhere you get your podcasts, podcast galore. And we'll see you next time. Thanks for listening.
Yeah, see you guys.
See ya.
Later.